Alright, we're going to take just a few minutes to look at this system, and I want to touch on some of the negative aspects that I mentioned in the review. So, overall, super nice build. Couldn't be happier with it. You can see that with the vertical graphics card installation, there's lots of room behind the GPU, and I actually have a PCI Express 4X card added in there. But if you notice the base here, I mentioned it being able to fishtail. That base holds the GPU in the right spot, but it doesn't keep it from moving because it's not attached to the floor. You can see where I have my external radiator lines running out of the rear I/O as well. Another thing that I mentioned that wasn't ideal is the bottom filter. You have to take this front panel off to get it out of there, which isn't a big deal. It's not difficult, but repeatedly taking it off and on could break it. One last thing that I didn't mention, and it's not a huge deal, just something to be aware of. This top grill on the front, it has latches that are spring-loaded, and the rest of it snaps in place. It's very secure, but you see those sockets there? These two small tabs snap into that. So if you're not careful, you could easily break those off. You won't if you're careful. This has the two sound deadening pads in the top that you can lift out if you're putting a radiator on top. I'm not, so obviously I left those in there to keep the dust down. But when you snap this in place, as I'll show here, it has to be slid all the way to the back, or you can't get the tabs in the front to line up. You have to make sure that it's pushed back all the way so that you don't break those little tabs off. Once you have it in place, everything just fits together perfectly. So there's no real issue there. But anyway, at the top here, you have a fair amount of space for a pretty good size radiator. You've got about 65 millimeters. So you could have a 40 millimeter radiator and 25 millimeter fan. It's just slightly over 65 millimeters. So that's good. That's more than a lot of cases have. I mentioned the free floating drive caddies. So there's a look at that. It's mounted very securely in the back side, but it's kind of free floating. So there it is, 2.5 minutes. Catch you back at the review.